This is Dana in Hernando, Florida.
Hi, Tracie, Don.
Hi.
Dana.
Yes. I've always wanted to be a guest host, and then I hear a call like that last one, and I'm exhausted, and I think, no, I'll stay right here.
It does take some stamina sometimes.
What I'm calling about, I called last December, and I was a mess.
Yeah, I think I remember you.
Yep. My sister, my daughter, everyone, called and said I was dead.
Yeah.
Because I was going to hell and they wouldn't get to talk to me then.
Well, you sound cheerier now.
Well, yeah, you do.
Yeah, well, I'm alive now. Talk to me now. Don't wait till after I'm dead. It doesn't make sense.
Well, we'll talk to you.
But, thank you. I've been wanting to call in, but I didn't want to bother you all. But I finally got up the courage to bother you 11 months later.
Okay. So what's the update here? What do we have that's an update?
Okay. At the time, I was bawling and squalling for about a month, and I was very suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
And that can't go on forever. Your body rebels after a while. And, I tried to get a stiff upper lip and go on with my life. And my husband started becoming an atheist, and I proceeded very cautiously and carefully. I didn't want to influence him.
Okay.
So here I am a year later, and I don't have family because I'm an atheist.
Okay.
I don't have friends because I'm an atheist.
You can change that.
I have tried to meet a few atheists. Some were, nice, and some were assholes.
Yeah, we have a few of those.
Atheism doesn't come with a nice stamp. But
I thought it was limited to religion.
no.
So basically, we are alone. And with still, every once in a while, I would think I'm alone, and poor me and all that, and I would get suicidal.
Okay.
And that Kubler-Ross talks about the different stages of grief.
Sure.
And I was stuck in that one. I was spinning my wheels. I was rocking real fast and getting nowhere. Yeah. I was wearing myself out. I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my husband, if it wasn't for this little dog that depends on me and feels my emotions and kisses me and loves me, there would be no reason not to kill myself.
Oh, no.
Oh, you said that to your husband?
Well, wait a minute. I'm not there yet.
Okay.
And, of course, my husband would say, well, what about me? And I said, every man for himself. I'm just...
You're not the dog. I'm just saying. Yeah.
He's worse off.
I choose the dog.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Wouldn't you know it, after the hurricane that wasn't really a hurricane, my dog crawled up to my feet and died.
Oh, no. Oh, no. We're sorry to hear that.
Well, to everyone is just a dog. To me, it was my baby. It was my family.
No, we understand. We understand.
Well, it was the thing keeping me not doing anything, So I've gone through all the emotions, and now, after all of this crap, I'm enraged. I am stuck in Charles Bronson. I want to,
Okay.
I want to make some...
Right.
Well, some of us have been there, too. Some of us have been there, too.
Try to keep it,
okay. So
safe,
do something constructive
rational.
with that.
Yeah, definitely.
What? Beat someone up?
No.
Do some writing. Do some arguing. Do
you have access to the internet?
Get involved. Make that fire. Turn that into something good.
Yeah. Express yourself.
I have published a book. Even it was
holy moly!
2 years ago. Okay, the sequel is sitting on the laptop. Because I have no interest. I've lost all will.
Wow.
I am not interested in anything. My doctor says that I am severely depressed. And possibly the only answer is at this point to give a little medical marijuana a chance.
Well, there's different medications and different doctors out there. I would suggest reaching out and getting some help.
Well, I don't know where to get it. I went to a counselor down here who talked about prayers and forgiveness and
there's the Secular Therapist Project.
Yeah.
Where you can call
and you tried that.
Say again?
I tried that last December and kept on trying it, and I never received anything back. But what I'm calling about is after I went through, the horrors, and they've lasted all year, how does an atheist handle bitterness?
Well, there are a lot of frustrations in this life, and I think that someone who is rational and looking at all the crazy out there, and there's no shortage of that these days, you get very frustrated and very angry, and you have to find a way to do something to make a difference, because that's the way in which you're going to channel that frustration and anger into something good and making the world a better place. And so find a place to volunteer, find a place to write another book, do something where you're influencing the world and channel that frustration and anger into something good.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm absorbing it. But
if I didn't do this show, I would be fit to be tied. I'd be very frustrated because there's just a lot of crazy out there, and this is sort of my way of trying to rein it in a little bit, and make a small contribution. Blogging is another good one.
Yeah, I mean, if you write, especially, this is one of the things that I've talked to with young people, right? So we used to get a lot of contact from people that were underage and living at home that they had either outed themselves to their parents and they were told they still had to go to church, or they weren't out and they were going to church and they were afraid to out themselves and they were just like, I'm being dragged to church every Sunday and I can't stand it. What do I do? And I would say, why don't you take notes and then you blog? Like, blog about your experience at church. Blog about what made you mad about the sermon. Blog about what you thought was ridiculous about what they said. Give your experience and say, name your blog. I'm a teen atheist, whatever you need to do. Yeah. Teen atheist forced to go to church.
And you'll find a community over time. Build it and they'll come.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you don't get a community, at least you've set up this situation where there's this content where you are expressing yourself and getting this out and getting your thoughts and your ducks in a row. And what I find is that a lot of people, if you Google certain religious topics, oh my gosh, you will get so many religious hits. And I think the more content that we put out as atheists, the better the odds that somebody, when they Google a particular topic, will get a hit that's like a secular hit. Maybe a different perspective will come up instead of 100 religious websites and then 101 is like an atheist blog.
Now, I do write a lot on the Atheist Community of Austin blog.
Good.
Oh, good.
Not the blog, the website.
Okay.
Okay, I'm there a lot. I've also been told to, dial back on the anger.
Okay, yeah.
It does come out. And
anger management,
it's going to get tempered over time.
Anger management is important too, and you could probably find a lot of resources, even if it's just reading about anger management. Somebody just wrote to us recently asking about how they should deal with. They engage with their family a lot, and they were having a lot of anger. And they said, "What do I do? How do I keep from getting mad?" And so I talked to them a little bit, and I sent them a little video that was on YouTube. It was a really good video, and I wish I could remember the guy's name. I will probably put it up. They make me do these show links where I put resources there. There's a really great video on intrapersonal communication where this guy talks about how you deal with your internal comms and how you can change them, recognize them, learn to sort of get that feedback before it comes out in a way that causes you problems in your relationships. So
now, Tracie, I'd never thought of that. It's never been mentioned. And you are right. I've got a lot of anger to deal with.
Well, sure.
Well, you're going through a process, right?
I never thought of anger management.
Okay.
I just,
Yep.
I've just thought of kick the door.
Yeah. But the key is to find something constructive to do and to channel that energy, because it's fire, right? And you can forge a nice sword out of that fire.
Yeah, and sometimes I think it's important to recognize that a lot of times anger is just sort of a cover emotion that we put on top of a lot of other frustrations. And so a lot of times when you feel anger, it's a good idea to kind of take a moment and step back and unpack that, right? And say, like, let's look.
I told Joe, I said, I am so depressed, and I think it's anger inside turned against me.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
For all the things I didn't do or should have done or wanted to do, or boy, if I could do that over again.
Well, a lot of depression's feeling hopeless and helpless, and anger, is pretty closely related to that.
Okay. So, well, we're so glad you called in to give us an update, and we hope that was helpful. I'm glad that you're, commenting at the website. Feel free to comment at the blog, and I will look those links up and get them up. May not be within a day or two because I have to go back and rewatch the show to see what things I referenced. I need to start learning to take notes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your call,
I appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Thank
you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.